What if the biggest threat to your relationship isn't cheating, isn't money, and isn't even the arguments? What if it's what happens inside you during the 10 seconds after you feel hurt? Your partner says something. You feel disrespected. Your chest tightens. Your mind immediately says, "Here we go again." And before you even understand what you're feeling, you react. You raise your voice. You become defensive. You say something cruel. You shut down. You walk away. Or you bring up something they did 3 years ago. And 20 minutes later, you're no longer arguing about what happened. You're arguing about how you treated each other because of what happened. That's the relationship killer nobody talks about enough. You don't need to stop feeling emotions. You need to stop letting every emotion make decisions for you. Because if you can master the space between feeling and reacting, you may completely change your relationship. Picture this. Your partner comes home late. They didn't call. You were worried. But underneath the worry was something else. You felt unimportant. So when they walk through the door, you don't say, "I was worried about you." You say, "Nice of you to finally show up." They hear criticism, so they become defensive. "I told you I was busy." Now you feel dismissed, so you attack harder. "You're always too busy when it comes to me." And they respond, "Nothing I do is ever good enough for you." Now you're both angry. But here's what's fascinating. Neither of you is talking about the real problem. The real conversation was, "I was scared because you matter to me." But anger got there first. And this happens constantly in relationships. Under anger might be hurt. Under jealousy might be fear. Under criticism might be disappointment. Under defensiveness might be shame. Under control might be insecurity. But instead of expressing the deeper emotion, we throw the protective emotion at the other person and then wonder why they don't understand us. Here's one idea that can change the way you argue forever. When conflict begins, your brain can forget that the person in front of you is someone you love. In that moment, they can start feeling like an opponent. You want to prove your point, defend yourself, expose their mistake, win. So you interrupt. You collect evidence. You remember every contradiction. You stop listening to understand and start listening for ammunition. And maybe you win. Congratulations. You proved them wrong. But look across the room. The person you love now feels humiliated, unheard, or emotionally unsafe. So ask yourself, what exactly did you win? Relationships become dangerous when partners start fighting each other instead of fighting the problem together. Your partner isn't supposed to be standing across from you. They're supposed to be standing beside you, looking at the problem and saying, "How do we solve this together?" That one mental shift changes everything. Not me versus you, but us versus the problem. Now here's where emotional mastery begins. There's a tiny window between "I feel something" and "I'm going to do something." Most relationship damage happens because we skip that window. Emotion, reaction, emotion, reaction, emotion, reaction. But emotionally mature people learn to insert something in between, a pause. Not because they're weak, because they're choosing. Imagine your partner says, "You never listen to me." Your immediate response might be, "That's ridiculous. I listen to you all the time." But instead, you pause. One breath, two breaths. Then you ask, "What happened that made you feel unheard?" Same situation, completely different relationship. You didn't surrender. You didn't admit guilt. You simply chose curiosity over defensiveness. And curiosity can save conversations that ego destroys. Here's another problem. Emotions don't only make us react, they make us interpret. Your partner doesn't text back. Fact, they haven't replied. Your emotional story, "They're ignoring me. They seem quiet." Fact, they're quiet. Your story, "They're angry with me. They want an evening alone. Fact. They want space. Your story. They're losing interest. And once you believe the story, you react to it as though it's reality. That's how imaginary problems create very real arguments. So when you feel emotionally triggered, ask yourself, what do I actually know? And what am I assuming? That question alone can prevent countless unnecessary conflicts, because feelings are real. But the explanation your mind gives you for those feelings isn't always accurate. Here's something practical you can use tonight. When you're upset, stop beginning sentences with, you always, you never, you make me. Those phrases immediately put people on trial. Instead, try, when this happened, I felt this. For example, instead of, you don't care about me, try, when I didn't hear from you, I felt unimportant. Instead of, you never listen, try, I don't feel heard right now. Can I explain what I'm trying to say? One attacks character, the other communicates experience, and people are far more likely to hear your pain when they don't have to defend themselves from your attack. Emotional mastery doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It doesn't mean never getting angry, never feeling jealous, never feeling hurt, never crying. That's suppression. Emotional mastery means I can feel anger without becoming cruel. I can feel hurt without trying to hurt you back. I can feel jealous without controlling you. I can feel afraid without accusing you. I can disagree with you without disrespecting you. That's strength, because anyone can be kind when everything is going their way. Your character appears when you're hurt, disappointed, angry, and still have the ability to choose who you want to be. That's where relationships either become stronger or slowly begin falling apart. The next time you feel triggered, remember these 5 steps. Step 1. Pause. Don't immediately send the text. Don't immediately answer. Give your nervous system a moment. Step 2. Name the emotion. Not, I'm upset. Go deeper. Am I hurt, embarrassed, rejected, afraid, unimportant? Step 3. Separate fact from story. What actually happened? What am I assuming happened? Step 4. Find the need underneath the emotion. Maybe you don't need to win the argument. Maybe you need reassurance, respect, connection, understanding, or simply to feel heard. Step 5. Communicate the need, not the attack. Instead of, what's wrong with you? Try, can we talk about what happened? I want us to understand each other. That is emotional mastery in real life. One day, you may realize something uncomfortable. Some of the biggest fights in your relationship weren't caused by what happened. They were caused by what happened next. The reaction, the accusation, the insult, the silence, the defensiveness, the need to win. You cannot control every emotion that enters your body, and you cannot control everything your partner does. But you can learn to control what happens next. So the next time you're angry, before you speak, before you text, before you attack, ask yourself one question. Do I want to protect my ego right now or protect this relationship? Because sometimes saving your relationship doesn't require another book, another technique, or another argument. Sometimes it requires 10 seconds. 10 seconds to breathe, 10 seconds to listen, 10 seconds to remember. This is someone I love, not someone I need to defeat. Master your emotions. And you may discover that you don't just save your relationship. You become a better person inside it. If this spoke to you, tell me in the comments. What emotion is hardest for you to control during conflict? Anger, jealousy, fear, or defensiveness? And subscribe for more relationship psychology, philosophy, and practical wisdom to help you understand yourself, understand others, and build healthier relationships. Because better relationships begin with a better understanding of ourselves. Remember, Connect with yourself and the people who matter. Reflect on your thoughts, choices, relationships, and experiences. Repeat the process until growth becomes a way of life. Subscribe for weekly videos about psychology, philosophy, stoicism, relationships, spirituality, wisdom, and intentional living. Think deeply. Live intentionally. Grow continually.